This is over out here toward the harbor, an area where that storm surge was happening earlier. Now you can't even see it out there.
Some of the trucks are starting to move around, get themselves dug out. The interstate ain't open yet.
Just went to the grocery store, so we don't have to come out for this week.
Extreme temperatures, strong winds, the lack of electricity and life-threatening conditions. All this the inhabitants of North America had to endure on Christmas Eve. At the end of December 2022, an unprecedented magnitude winter storm hit a large part of Canada and the United States up to the Gulf of Mexico, and was classified as a bomb cyclone. Heavy snowfalls and high-speed wind have virtually paralyzed public life in states of New York, Montana, South Dakota, and Wyoming. The National Weather Service has issued a warning to more than 200 million people, which is 60% of the US population. The Weather Service's map displays some of the most comprehensive winter weather warnings and advice ever, according to forecasters. Numerous temperature records were set in just a few days. In addition, on December 21st to 22nd, in the western and southern United States, some all-time low temperatures were set at record speed. For example, at Denver International Airport, the temperature dropped by 47 degrees in just 2 hours, from 46 degrees to -1 degree Fahrenheit. In Wyoming State Cheyenne Airport, an even more significant drop was recorded, and it became a record holder. Here, the temperature dropped from 43 degrees to 3 degrees Fahrenheit only in 30 minutes, the biggest half-hour drop on record. Against the backdrop of severe frost and snowstorms, many houses were left without electricity. Tens of thousands of Americans had to change their plans for the Christmas holidays as abnormal weather conditions led to a traffic collapse. Unfortunately, more than 20 people did not survive this natural disaster. Most of them got into car accidents caused by severe weather conditions. Thus, in the state of Ohio, more than 50 cars collided on the highway due to a snowstorm.
The core of the lake effect snowband has now moved into downtown Buffalo. Flash freeze in full effect. Blizzard conditions now. These are straight up blizzard conditions, definitely coupled with the very heavy snowfall rates. This is over out here toward the harbor, an area where that storm surge was happening earlier. Now you can't even see it out there. This could be one of the worst blizzards to ever hit the Buffalo area, likely the worst when it's all said and done. 5 to 6 feet of snow, brutal wind chills, a brutal unprecedented sage, and which is a storm surge along the eastern tip of Lake Erie. Just brutal conditions out here happening.
Some of the trucks are starting to move around, get themselves dug out. The interstate ain't open yet.
We thought we'd save time by flying closer to home, and now our flight has been canceled twice, home to Iowa.
Just went to the grocery store, so we don't have to come out for this week. And we'll be stuck in the house looking at the snow.
Previously dangerously cold Arctic air has caused extreme temperatures in Canada. Here, in just a few days, the provinces of Alberta and British Columbia recorded dozens of records for the lowest temperatures. Local residents are literally shocked by such an unprecedented cold. the end of December 2022 turned out to be abnormally warm for many Europeans, and only the festive Christmas illuminations reminded us that it was winter outside. So, in France, more than 10 temperature records were set. In several cities, the temperature rose above 20 degrees Celsius. In Verdun, Department of Agnes, the temperature exceeded 26 degrees Celsius, although such a figure is more consistent with the summer indicators. Meanwhile, judging by the statements of Météo France, 2022 can already be called the warmest year in the history of measurements in France since the start of record keeping. In the Swiss ski resort of Adelboden, the air warmed up to 15.6 degrees Celsius on December 25th, while the average daily temperature is usually around 0 degrees Celsius. In the city of Hechingen in Germany, the thermometer showed an abnormal 16.7 degrees Celsius, and in Liechtenstein, plus 15.8 degrees Celsius. Unseasonably high temperatures were also recorded in Spain. And much of Italy, including Rome, this past Christmas was the warmest in 50 years, with 10 degrees Celsius above the average. The citizens of Europe will remember the year 2022 with many temperature records and exceptional heat waves. As you can see, the last days of the outgoing year were no exception in terms of record temperatures. Reports of sudden and severe flooding continue coming from countries in the Middle East. After Mecca and other cities in Saudi Arabia and Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, were underwater on December 23rd, torrential rains hit Oman. On December 26th and 27th, 2022, flood waters flooded entire blocks of the country's capital. Several highways in Muscat were completely closed to traffic, and classes were suspended in all schools. More severe flooding effects were observed in the opposite part of Asia. In the Philippines, the last week of 2022 was marred by natural disasters in 10 regions in the south of the country. 2 days of heavy rains led to floods and landslides, which affected about 400,000 people. Residents of the affected areas, being waist-deep in water, got out of their homes with the help of rescuers. More than 20 casualties are reported. 20 people went missing. Mostly, they were fishermen who went out to the sea in their boats. Climate disasters are gaining momentum and can affect anyone at any time. Does your city have a disaster notification system in place? A unified emergency service is a real solution in the face of growing cataclysms, and we can create it in the format of the creative society. And we can implement effective technologies everywhere that will help save the lives of millions of people in emergency situations.